For more videos on people's struggles, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Hello and welcome to People's Dispatch. This is part of our May Day series on the issues faced by workers around the world. We are going to be talking to trade union representatives from various countries on how workers are faring, especially in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic. What are the challenges in front of trade unions as far as organizing is concerned? Today, we have with us Patrick Correa of the International Department of the CGT Metal Workers Union in France. Patrick, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Preston, for invitation. Hello, everyone.
Yes. So I just first wanted to ask, could you talk a bit about the COVID-19 situation in France and especially the impact on the workers? Because we do know that France is one of the most affected countries. There have been over 24,000 people have died. The number of cases has been huge. So could you talk about how especially the working class is suffering at this point?
Okay, this is a quite difficult situation we're facing now, actually, in France. I think it's the same thing around the world. We know the pandemic has been very strong in the country, and we take measures now for been 2 months ago by locking down all the country, and sending all the workers back at home, especially teleworking. But in some essential areas like in supermarkets, food industries, or health and safety, that is normal, we have to stay at work. So at the moment we are still locked down, and all these essential workers in the public service, in transport, health, and so on, they are still working and taking care of us. And they are the more precarious, the more, I would say, poorest workers actually are taking care of all the other population. And I think that we must give them our recognition at the moment. And I think the society and the employers and the government have to give them our recognition about the fact that they are essential to this country and essential to all the people's lives. So at the moment, the government has announced that the locking down should be over in 2 weeks now. But actually, we don't know if the health situation will be more quiet. We don't know if we'll have a good conditions to go back to work. Actually, what we want to do with government is to force the labor class, to force the workers to go back to work, because what we are worried about it's about the economy. It's not about the health of the population, about the workers. So we are trying to force us to go back to work. And many companies have already started working again since now 2 weeks. So they have announced that they will reopen the schools, not for education purpose, but just because the school will take care of our kids, and then the parents will be able to go back to work. Right. But actually, we know that we are not able to provide health and safety to the workers. We don't have masks, we don't have gels, we don't have gloves. We cannot respect the distance between the workers. Mm-hmm. So we say we cannot reopen at the moment. That's not possible.
Right. And also with regards to the reopening strategy itself, one of the things you were talking about is the impact on essential service workers. So could you talk a bit more about them? What is the situation, especially in the informal sector right now?
We don't have many informal sector actually, but we have many in the food industry, mm-hmm. in the transport, like in the deliveries, post office and so on. We have many precarious workers. Right. They have bad working conditions. They have, they receive only minimum wage here in France. But these workers actually are essential, because without them, we'll not be able to get food, we're not going to get deliveries, many things we cannot get. Right. And the fact that show this crisis is that the blue-collar workers are the essential part of our economy, are essential part of the life of all the citizens. Right. And that's what shows really important to us, is that we need, with this crisis, is to get rid of precarious work, get rid of a minimum contract that gives only not decent wages to the person. So that's what shows this crisis. There is an inequality. This crisis shows a huge inequality between workers, because the white collar workers are actually teleworking from home.
Right, exactly.
They are safe. Right. They are home, and that's normal. But the blue collar workers are forced to go back to work, and they are worried every day about going to work because they will be get ill, we will go to hospital and even die. So, but this is the inequality of the situation. You can see that also in when you look at the kids that are going to school. You know, the kids from the white collar workers are actually home. They have a laptop and they work from home and they study. But the kids from blue collar workers, the more precarious one, at home, they have no laptop. They cannot get education. So this is the reality of this crisis. They are not. Meaning some areas of France actually they have lost their job. They don't have food to eat because one part of the kids in these areas, when they went to school, that's the only place where they could get one meal per day.
Right.
Actually, they don't get this meal. So this is the crisis only shows the inequalities that capitalism has created in our countries and all across the world.
Exactly. And could you talk a bit about how the economic policies, especially of the Macron government in recent years, have heightened some of these inequalities?
Well, I think that what was said. It's Warren Buffett that told a few years ago that the dominant class was winning the class struggle against the working class. And I think it's Macron is at the end of capitalism and in this policy. Mm-hmm. What he has been only doing is try to increase the inequalities, only the money going back in the pocket of a more rich rich persons of this country around the world. What he has been doing is only taking money from the workers to get it to the capital. You know, when he tried when he was trying to cut the pensions, exactly. It's not to get a system more, I would say, sustainable. It's not only the fact that he wanted to give the money on the pensions to the capital, to the pensions fund. That's the only thing he was thinking of.
Right.
So that's it. That's always the same policy around the world, and when he make all the contracts more precarious. It's not about the fact that they will get more easily a job. No, it's because the fact that they like this, the employer can put more pressure on the worker and even earn more money.
Exactly.
That's the only thing interesting at the moment. So it's only the same. We have always the same policies, even when the president of the government are changes, it's always the same policy.
Right. And you mentioned the pension reform. So just last year and the beginning of this year saw massive protests across France on this issue over the fact that the age of retirement would be raised, over the fact that it would be a points-based system which would be graded based on very vague criteria. So could you tell us a bit about what the situation currently is with the protests? Not, of course, the protests now, but before the lockdown, what was the situation with the protests, and because it was a countrywide thing, so what was the government forced to concede?
Well, just before we were locked down, I can say that the government was under pressure. The massive struggles we have organized, also the support that the citizens were shown us during all these months of protest was huge and still increasing. That's just incredible that more than 61% of the population was supporting CGT's action actually during all those time. And you know that when you have a huge struggle, you know, normally the support is going down, right. You know, but actually it's not the case during this the pension reform. We had huge strikes in the transport in many areas, but they are still supporting us. Actually, before even the crisis started, the only idea of the government was try to force the vote on the pension reform. Exactly. And that's what they did. And they were using this crisis to force the vote on the pensions. But they are so worried about the fact that the unhappiness and we could also start again about protesting a lot, that now the pension reform has been frozen.
Okay, right. Okay. That's a good
It's been frozen, and even we have now some significant messages from the government, they will drop it.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
So, but in that aspect, I think it shows when we working class is acting, is protesting, even if it's long, even if it costs a lot. At the end, we can have a result, and this process has been, I think, a huge success.
Exactly right. And to come back to the COVID-19 aspect, could you talk a bit about the sort of solidarity actions that workers unions, workers organizations have been conducting in France to basically help their fellow comrades at this time of need?
Well, solidarity is really important at the moment. That's true, but I think the main concerns about the fact that the solidarity is to provide at the moment all the I would say basic needs that our members have to get when they go to work: masks, gel, gloves, and so our protest is to give them what they should have, and also our support during this crisis.
Right.
So there's our solidarity is also between, I would say, the workers among themselves actually during this crisis. And what's shown this crisis is that actually, even if we are locked down, we are separated from all of I would say, our comrades. We have never been talking so much actually. We talk. They use the new ways of communication like we are using today to communicate a lot and exchange a lot. So, and we have never been such a good, I would say, communication and exchange of information among our workers actually. And this is even between workers that have never talked to each other from different companies, from different sectors. That's the kind of solidarity we're acting actually. We have a solidarity we show is also about the protect the migrants that are come to France. We are trying to get, I would say, measures to protect them because they are lost in this situation.
Right.
We are trying to protect the persons that are actually in the streets. We are confronting the COVID-19. We are trying to provide food in some areas where they don't get food because they have no money or not access to supermarkets. We're trying to do everything we can at the local level to help them at the national level to organize what should be the role of state to fulfill the basic needs of all the citizens and population of this country.
Right. And finally, it's a larger question. So one of the key challenges, both right now and in the coming months for trade unions, will be on organizing itself. So, how do you organize at a time when people are maybe a bit more scared to come out in rallies and big processions and marches? How do you do meetings? So what are the kind of ideas that you in the CGT have been thinking about regarding how to engage workers both right now and in the immediate months?
Well, actually, we're talking about May Day. May Day is an important day for all the working class around the world, and especially in France. It's a really important day for us as unions. It's the first time ever that we will not be able to rally in the streets of Paris. So we are in the history. That's the first time ever. So this is just crazy. So we have to find new ways of protesting, acting, and we have been very, very active in by the communication networks. We are using Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp, all these different systems to communicate. And now tomorrow, I'd say all our members are encouraged to put leaflets in front of their flats, homes, to protest and about the actual situation. Our health is more important than their money.
Right.
So that's the main message we want to address to our politics and the employers and capital at the moment. So yes, what shows this? What I told you is that this crisis shows that we have a capacity to even be more efficient. We have tools, but we are not using them. We have not been using them properly, and now we are using them, and we can see we can be even more efficient than capital itself when you're using them correctly.
Right.
So I'm looking after the international issues in Metal Workers Federation. I've never been so in contact with all my comrades around the world, and especially in Europe. We have exchanges every day by Skype. on the situation in different companies and the situation of the countries. What are their problems? How we can help them? So we have never been talking so much. I think that's the way to deal about internationalism. It's about a way to also to build, I would say, an international struggle against the capital is by communicating, and we are not being communicating enough. And you're talking about organizing. That's a key problem at the moment. When we don't have where workers are not working, this is difficult. So we have been trying to organize many meetings as we can. We are providing many information as we can, because the workers that are actually teleworking, they have no information from their companies. We are trying to send them any information they can get, all the advices we can deliver them. We're trying to do so. And in the companies, well, even when they are the companies where they are working, our delegates are there. They are with the worker, you know. They are just close to the workers every day. So many of our delegates actually in hospital because they have been working with our members. That we don't care because we have to do so. That's our duty to be close to them and help them every day. That's a way of organizing too. And the capital that we are trying to do is to use these health measures from the government, you know, the lockdown, to forbidden the access to the companies. Right. We have been to tribunal, to the courts, and the court said CGT has been banned from many companies because they said we cannot go into the companies because of health issues. Right. But the court recognized the fact that our delegates, our members, have a right to go inside the company. So what we are trying to do, and our duty when we are in the companies, is to condemn, to go to court, to tell them you don't respect the health and safety measures.
Right. Thank you so much, Patrick, for talking to us.
Thank you, Prasanth. Take care.